Well, I'll worry about it in a minute. Hey,
Is the meeting started?
I just turned it on. My camera is upside down for some reason. I'm trying to figure out why that's doing that, but I'm trying to download some stuff now. Hmm. Okay. Open these. Then, where is the other one? Downloads. This one. No, that's Eames. Okay. This one. Okay. So Zoom is here and I'm upside down. You know how to fix that? What do I do? Hmm. Oh, now I'm up. Okay, good. Ah. Thank you, Hunter. Get a drink of water. If you see anybody else come on, just because I didn't sign in or what? Yikes. You have to sign in. Hunter's in here, so I don't know.
You're in too.
Yeah. She's gonna have to sign in, maybe.
We sent you many emails.
Mhm.
And we also got on WhatsApp because that's their preferred method of communication.
Okay,
So we got in touch with them,
good.
but it took a lot of
Yeah.
effort.
I'll tell you guys first.
We have a good group and they were working on the assignments, even though we had took a while to initiate contact.
Mhm.
Did you get in touch with your team members?
Yes and no. They emailed us back, but we still haven't been able to like communicate on a platform yet, so. I got WhatsApp.
Yes.
And I think the other So we don't know who it is. Now.
Oh, there's somebody.
What's up, Michelle? Like, that's their preferred method of communication.
Yeah. Hi, Marisela. How are you?
We're just waiting on them to text us. They have our
Okay.
numbers, so.
Good. Well, we'll see if others show up here. I hope Jackie does. Better check my email just in case. Nothing there. Okay, and media side is here. So just hang on for a minute. We're just waiting for people to show up on Zoom. And the time in Puebla is the same as here, right? Okay. Let's see. Tina's here and Jill's iPhone is here. Good. All right. And like I said, we're just waiting for people to show up here. So you guys just hang tight and we'll get started when they do. I don't know if she's down there or not. I'm not sure. I saw her earlier. Well, I will sit down for a minute while we're waiting. I wonder if she thought that she had been doing 6. Right? There usually is an hour's difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have daylight saving in Mexico. They used to. Mexico used to do daylight,
Oh,
not anymore.
Look, here's somebody.
They stopped last year.
Oh, there's Carolina. Hi, Carolina. I know you're at a soccer game. We're waiting on, huh? We're waiting on the Mexican students to show up, and we're thinking that maybe they thought that we were supposed to meet at 6 their time because it used to be that they were on daylight savings time and they were an hour later than us. But we're just going to sit here and wait and see when they show up. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you for the update.
All right. Thanks. She's coaching a soccer game.
3 interview.
Hmm?
3.
No, she works for a high school. But if they do show up at 6, I'll just go ahead and record it and you guys can.
Send a message to the kids, to the students.
Okay. Just tell them we're in Zoom right now and we're waiting for them. Carrie. Hi, Carrie. We're just waiting for everyone to show up. We think there might be a perception of a time difference there in Mexico where they thought maybe they're an hour later than us. So we're just going to sit around and wait and see if they show up. If they do show up at 6, then I'll just record this and then we'll figure out on Thursday when to meet and then we can ask questions at that time, okay? All right, so sorry for the delay.
Just to be some highlights.
Oh, Yeah. I'm thinking they'll show up at 6. Okay. Be careful. You can do that too.
the subscriptions or?
Yeah, the department does.
Limited time?
I set the end time to 6:15. Will it automatically end at that time? It will? Okay. I'm gonna change it to, let's change it to 2 hours. Let's see. Okay. That way it won't cut off the recording. I apologize, you guys, we're just waiting. So let's wait around and see what happens.
Okay, so I think we can start.
Okay. All right. Hi, my name is Gary Bond and I'm over here in Portales, New Mexico. I'm still admitting people. I'm sorry. Let me have these guys join. Okay. The top what? Okay. Sorry. And so as I admit people, I just wanted to say how excited we are to work with all the students at Anahuac and also here in Portales at ENMU. So welcome. Um, let's see, I'm still admitting people. I'm sorry. What I did want to mention before we start talking about the research that we're going to be doing together is that I'd like everyone to check your emails and make sure that you're contacting people who have been emailing. And if anybody from my end is not joining in on group activities, you can email me and let me know. So my email is gary.bond@enmu.edu. It's gary.bond@enmu.edu. And you can email me and complain about it, and I'll get my students to work, okay? So let's make sure that we all, get together in groups and do this right. We've had a really successful collaboration between Anahuac students. We really enjoyed working together. I hope that everyone has a good time doing
Gary, wait a minute, please. Ricardo, tu micrófono. Ricardo, tu micrófono. Gracias.
There
Thank
we
you,
go.
Gary. Sorry.
Okay. I thought I was hearing an echo or something. But we've had a really successful collaboration. We really enjoyed doing this, and we want this to be a successful one this year as well. Okay. So my students, what have they been doing? We have been reading articles about children's understanding of death, okay? And we want to know how children in Mexico, come to understand death and the concepts of death, a biological explanation, and also kind of their supernatural beliefs, okay? Hi. So, that's what we're looking for. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you the aims of the research that we have. Let's see if I can find it. Give me just a minute. Okay, let me make sure these are open. Okay, give me one sec. Okay. And now let me share my screen. And here it is. Okay. All right. So we took these aims out of the readings that we've been looking at concerning past research and what we want to know that is kind of new. Okay. So we want to know, do children in Mexico show something called the fading affect bias for memories of the death of close people or pets, and for negative memories? Okay. My own research looks at how fading affect bias occurs in different cultures. So I've looked in the Philippines. I've also looked in Mexico. I've also looked at let's see, African Americans in the United States. Okay, and what I found is this is kind of a universal way of letting go of emotional strength, I guess, over time. If we have a negative experience in the past and we think about how we felt when that happened, okay, maybe we really rated the emotional intensity of the experience as being really strong, okay? And so, my parents died when I was 8 and then 9. When I was a child, And I would say that, you know, I was devastated by that. I really felt emotional about it at the time it happened. But many years later, right, I don't hold on to that negative emotional intensity for a long period of time, because if I did, what do you think would happen? Anybody? Okay, I might start suffering from depression for sure, right? Because I'm holding that negative emotion for so long, over time, right? And so humans, in order to make it through life in kind of a slightly positive way, we have to let go of negative emotional feelings, okay, over time. And I would expect that children have to do that too in order to sort of feel normal and stay normal, okay? I don't know if you've ever lost a pet before, or a family member or a friend or anyone like that. You know, it is devastating at the time that it occurs, but now, hopefully, the negative emotion kind of fades away, okay? Now, for positive experiences like graduating from high school, or, you know, getting married, or other happy events, you know, those kinds, the emotions associated with those memories should stay rather stable over time. In other words, you know, they shouldn't fade over time. You should still feel pretty positive about positive memories. Okay, so I expect that to happen. So that's the fading affect bias. It says here, fading affect bias is when emotional intensity associated with a negative event fades over time. Okay, and it may have been strong in emotional intensity at the time it happened, but now it should have diminished. Okay. All right, our second aim in the research is to see if children show both a biological and a supernatural understanding of death. Okay. What is biological and what is supernatural? Okay. Well, in the research that we've read, it says 5 subcomponents of death understanding that people have is: one is irreversibility. People can't come back to life, right? After they've died. And then there's universality, which is that all living things die, including, you know, plants and animals and people. Inevitability, that means there's no way to avoid death. Okay, we exist for a certain amount of time, and then we die. Okay. Cessation is another subcomponent, and that means that physical and psychological functioning stops at death. Okay, so you don't breathe, and you can't move and things like that when you die. All right, and then there's causality. What is the reason that people die? What are the causes of death? Okay, and we want to know how children look at all of these subcomponents. And do they have some kind of an idea about what happens after death? Okay. Um, and so we have questions embedded in this interview for you guys to run your children in the study, that lead us to start to think that, you know, people who die go somewhere. Okay, some children might believe that. Some children might not believe that. You know, dead people go anywhere. Okay, and so we want to know: do they have both a biological and a supernatural understanding of death? All right. So that's our second aim in the research. The third aim, let me go to the next slide, is does Puebla Mexican children's participation in cultural celebrations of death, such as Dia de los Muertos, mediate the relationship between fading affect bias and children's depth understanding. Okay, so we're going to have questions in your interviews with the children that ask them about, do they participate in Dia de los Muertos, and what kinds of activities do they do? Okay, and this mediation effect, we're going to use statistics to understand the relationship between cultural understandings and the fading affect bias that I talked about, and children's deaf understanding. So these will be measured with interview questions, okay? And then our last aim in the study is, do children show lower fading affect bias if they have elevated scores on depression and anxiety? So I'm going to ask you guys to use something called the BASC, B-A-S-C. It's the Behavioral Assessment System for Children, and give those to the children in the study. And we want to see maybe that if children who have higher levels of depression or anxiety might not show as much fading of negative memories over time, okay? All right, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to let you ask me questions now, and I want to know if you have questions about any of this before we move on.
Okay, just let me ask my students if they understand everything.
Okay.
Hay algunas dudas, chicos. Estamos entendiendo todo lo que nos está diciendo el profesor Gary. Es decir, sabemos cuáles son ya los 4 objetivos que se tienen o las 4 cosas que se quieren alcanzar en esta investigación y cuáles son los instrumentos que vamos a estar utilizando. ¿Dudas con eso? Sí, sobre todo los chicos que no hablan tan bien inglés o que no entendemos tan bien inglés, me interesa que esté súper planchado esto. Entonces, ¿lo entendimos? ¿Sí? Muy bien, por ahí veo a Vale Guajardo que dice que sí, solo para no evidenciar, o sea, no darlo por sentado. Vale, ¿cuáles son los instrumentos que vamos a estar aplicando en pues en esta investigación colaborativa con ellos?
O sea, como todas las emociones de lo que ellos sienten en diferentes casos, ¿no? Y cómo es que se muestra biológicamente y también.
No, tache, guarache, ¿qué pregunté? María José.
Bueno, nosotros tenemos una pregunta, pero aparte la respuesta es VAS y el de cuestionario de la muerte.
Exacto, vamos a estar aplicando una entrevista y vamos a estar aplicando el BASC. Ok, la pregunta puedes realizársela al doctor Gary. ¿Estás cómoda
Ay,
haciendo?
sí,
¿Sí? Ok, Gary,
sí, yo no la apliqué el semestre pasado porque mi niño estaba en preescolar y quería saber si ahorita la aplico. O sea, tiene 7 años.
bueno, pregúntale al doctor Gary. Sí puedes, venga. Gary, we have a
In
question here.
English, because I don't understand Spanish. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question because my kid is 7 years old, so I don't know if I have to apply it. And just like, how do we apply it? Is it just like questions? I don't know.
Yeah, these are scale items. We usually use them in psychology. They'll make a statement like, I feel very sad today, or something. And then you rate that statement on a scale from 1 through, what is it, Alyssa, 4 or 5? 4, okay. Okay, never to always. So, we ask a series of, or make a series of those statements, and then the child makes ratings on each one of those. And then you extract their score based on the sum or adding up all the ratings on that scale. Okay. Yeah.
Sí, Ceci, porque creo que no iba por ahí, ¿cierto?
No, o sea, sí esos, pero aparte nada más como la edad de los niños.
Okay. She wants to know if she can apply BAS because I don't know, how old is he? Ceci?
7.
7 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we have BASC for, what are the age groups, Alyssa? It's
2 to 5 and then 6 to 7, or 6 to 11.
Okay, 2 to 5, and then 6 through 11 years old, okay? So he would fit in the 6 to 11-year-old range. Mhm.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank
Isa.
you.
O sea, I have another question. For this, are we going to apply like the different tests to just our, like the children we're working with at Mano Amiga or to other children?
Yes, I'd rather you concentrate just at the elementary school and not use other children just based on permissions, right, from the school. Is that right, Jackie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. So for this project, I'm only going to work with one kid, right?
Well,
Okay.
that depends. We need around, I guess, 60 children in the study. So it depends on how many students you have there at Puebla who are going to work with the children.
Yes, we are like 70 maybe, or how much?
Oh, that many. Okay.
Yeah. So my
Great.
students will work with one kid.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll each work with one. That's
Yeah.
good. Okay.
Isa,
Sí,
no, la otra Isa, Isa
Ah.
Blancos.
gracias.
Soy yo. Hi, teacher.
Hello.
Only to be sure is because I can listen because my internet. If my girl has 12 years old and is in high school,
Mhm.
I can apply this test. No, only for children that has 11, right?
Well, actually, you can extend it. I think Dr. Gill, who's worked with me on this, she says you can extend it through 13 years of age if you want to, because it still applies at that age. So, you know, a 12-year-old would fit for the older children's part. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Mafer.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any advice to when the time we apply the BAS test or anything?
Yes. I'm going to show you kind of the way the interview will work over time. The BASC, I think, is best used at the very end of the research because the child that you're going to be working with will probably get tired, right? And you might want to do some kind of fun activity before you do the BASC so that they're engaged with you, right? And they're still giving good information to you. So I'll talk about that when I start showing you all the things that you have to do in the interview, okay? Good.
Marta Mari.
Thank you.
Well, hi, first of
Hello.
all.
Mhm.
And it's just what you said that can you show us how to apply it? And also that sometimes my girl, she's 12 years old and she's close. I mean, when she answer me, she's always like, yes, no, yes, like really close answers.
Right.
And sometimes I need more to investigate and to like just say something. So
That's
can
right.
you make me or make us an example of what happened in that case?
Yes. So I think it's best that I pull up the interview section and show you. We have actually instructions that talk about how to get kids to give you more, right? As we go through this. So let's see, let's just kind of walk through this, and I'm going to give you guys copies of this so you'll have those to put on your cell phone, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to turn on your cell phone recorder and record the whole interaction with the child, okay? And so it says you're going to clearly and audibly state your name, the researcher, and then also the child's name and record that, right? And then you're going to give their date of birth, the little kid's date of birth and gender, okay? So you might ask the child, are you a boy or a girl? If you're unsure of their gender, it's up to you. and then what is your birthday? And that gives us an idea of how old the child is. Okay, so we want to get that right off the bat, right at the beginning, and then ask what grade they're in. Okay, and these are all pieces of information that we want to put into our spreadsheet to calculate statistics on this. Okay, so make sure you do that at the very beginning. And then you're going to ask them for their consent to participate. It's called assent, actually. And so you might just show this to the child and read these things to them. I'm doing a project for my school. I want to learn about some things children in your age remember. If it's okay with you, I will ask you some questions about things you remember. You don't have to do this activity if you don't want to. Whatever you choose will be fine, and nobody will be upset with you. Okay, if you choose yes, you can stop at any time and you'll not get into trouble with anyone. Okay, so you can raise your hand at any time as we do this if you want to stop. Okay, and then you'll ask them, do you have any questions about this memory activity? Okay, would you like to do this memory activity? For the younger children, you want to tell them, point to the blue box for yes, or point to the yellow box for no. Okay, and this is just to get their consent that they want to do the study. Okay. Next thing, you want to follow this script as closely as possible because, you know, I want every child to get the same kind of instructions. Okay. And you want to record all the responses, as I said, in the study. So the first thing we want you to do is just kind of get the child relaxed, okay? You might play a short game with them. I don't know if you guys do I Spy there in Mexico or tic-tac-toe. I'm sure you do that, right? Have you ever heard of I Spy? I spy with my little eyes something yellow, right? And they have to answer back to you something yellow, right? Or some other little game that you can play with them where they get sort of happy and loosened up, okay? And then you want to say,
Ma, ¿me presta su laptop?
Rafa, tu micrófono.
okay. Was that a question or? Okay. Anyway, after this little game, you'll say everybody feels sad or bad sometimes. Tell me about any time that you remember feeling sad or bad. Okay, this is where you might just have a little response, right? And some kids just don't like to open up, okay? So you want to give the child time to respond. If they don't have a response right away, you can say it can be any sad or bad memory from any time or place, even yesterday or today or a long time ago, okay? So maybe they might say, I don't know, Julio punched me yesterday, okay? And that's really short, okay? And then, so you might want to just say, okay, can you tell me how you felt when Julio punched you, right? Or something like that. And that'll give them some extra motivation to give you more detail in the memory, okay? All right, and if they just don't say anything at all, just tell them that's okay. If you think of something, you can tell me later and move on to the next question in this, okay? All right. And then, you know, always when they're just giving you very little response, it's always good to say, can you tell me more about that? Okay. Or, you know, just ask them a little question so they'll continue to respond to you. Okay. Next, you want to give a visual aid that asks for vividness, okay? When you picture the memory you just told me about, how clear is the memory? How well do you remember it, okay? And then the child's going to point and state which number the child selected. So as you can see here, this is really unclear. The memory was really unclear to the child. this part of the scale is kind of a little more clear, but not really, really clear, right? And then this side is really, really clear. So they need to point to a number on this scale, okay? If the memory was sort of clear, maybe they'll point at number 3, okay? But you want to say into your cell phone, the child selected number 3 for vividness, okay? All right, the next rating, think about how you felt when this memory happened. Show me which face is closest to how you felt about the memory you just shared, okay? So this was probably a negative memory, so maybe they'll point to one of these numbers down here, like 1 is really negative, 2 is a little bit less negative, 3 is still sad, right? 4 is neutral, and then these are happy, the happy ratings, okay, on the right side. So again, state what number they pointed at, right? When you do this, okay, I have 3 participants who have raised their hand. Let's answer some questions. Go ahead.
Victoria, Dani y Analu, por favor.
Okay. Victoria?
So my question is, so you said we have to record the kid, but I'm just like not sure if we have permission to record them, like to show their faces. So I don't know if it's like to record like a voice or
Okay,
like.
you're thinking of video, right? We're not going to do a video. It's just going to be a sound recorder on your cell phone, right? So you have that, right?
Yeah, that's perfect. That was my
Okay.
question.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't clear about that. Yeah, it's not a video. Okay. Next.
Hi, so my question is if the child doesn't want to like open with me about a sad memory, can I tell him like a sad memory of mine so he can like open up a little bit more?
Okay, I didn't quite hear the end of that. What did she say, Jackie? I didn't understand.
A ver, Jackie, ahorita algo en español, no sé si así se entiende.
No se te oye, mami. No se te oye porque está como mucho ruido. Escríbela en el chat. She's gonna write it on.
Oh, okay, that's better. Yeah. Okay.
And
And who is the third person who had a question?
Ana Lucia.
Okay.
Hi, I have a question. Do we need to, is it better to print these scales or it's better in the phone?
Well, that's up to you. I mean, you could print it on a piece of paper and, you know, just keep them in order, right? The way you're supposed to collect the ratings, but I don't know, it's generally okay just to do it on a cell phone, show it to the child and say which one, right? And have them point.
And if like my girl distracts too much, can I ask her like to paint in the drawing the face that she thinks is the
Yeah.
one is?
I like that idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. All right, did we have the written question yet?
No more questions.
Okay.
Here, Dani Olmedo.
All right.
If the child doesn't want to tell me a sad experience, is okay if I tell him one memory that made me sad so he can open more?
That's a really good idea too. Yeah. Because, you know, a lot of kids just don't want to share, right? And so it may be best to kind of model it to them and say, you know, I fell down and broke my leg when I was a child, right? And I felt really bad about it. And, you know, just kind of give them an example. That's a really good idea. Thanks. Okay.
Okay, so I think it would be better to print the
ratings?
yes, I think. So everybody, we need to print this. Mafer.
This part you're explaining, it's for the kids from 6 to 11 or?
Yeah, it would be, you know, any child that you can get from 6 to 13 or whatever.
Okay.
Right? Whoever you
Okay.
work with. Okay.
Thank you, Gary.
All right, good.
One more question, sorry.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
Are you going to share the presentation with us to print for the child?
Yes, what I'll do is I'll save this and I'll send it to Jackie an email and then she'll share it with all of you. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
We're going to start with this next Wednesday, okay? Everybody, next Wednesday, not tomorrow, okay? So we're not going to apply Basque tomorrow,
Mhm.
okay?
Okay, very good. All right, let me go to the next slide. There's another rating. Now this rating asked, how did you feel at the time it occurred, right? And now we ask, how do you feel now about the memory, right? Because we want to know the change over time about, how they feel, okay? So that's the third rating. Now we go to the next slide. It says, thank them for sharing and, if they're sad or something, reassure the child. And now we're going to move them into a happy memory. Can you tell me about a happy memory now? Okay. And you want to say, it could have happened yesterday, last week, a long time ago. It doesn't matter, right? If they don't tell you right away. Okay. And then you'll have the vividness rating again, where they pick a number and you say that out loud on your recording. And then you're going to have this rating at the time it occurred. How did you feel? And they should probably pick something between 5 and 7, but it's up to them, right? How happy were you at the time it occurred? How do you feel right now about the memory? Okay. So you're going to get those 3 ratings again after that one. Now, the last memory you're going to ask them about is this. That was a great memory you shared. I'm going to talk to you about death now. Is that okay? Can you tell me what death is? So now we're getting them mentally into thinking about, death. All right. And then you're going to ask them this question. Has a friend, a family member, or pet died in the past few years? Can you tell me about that? Okay. And then they're going to pick, a friend, family member, or pet, and then they'll talk about that. And then you'll want to ask them, how much did you love that, whatever they talked about? So maybe family member, okay? And then they're going to point to which heart they feel represents how much they loved that family member, friend, or pet, okay? So it's either none or a little bit or a lot, a little more or a lot, okay, as to how much they love them. And that gives us an idea of how close they were to whatever died, okay? All right, next slide is how clear is the memory? How well do you remember the death of your whatever they selected, pet or something, right? And then you're going to go through these 3 slides again. I don't remember it much. I remember it a little bit, or I remember it a lot. And then, how did you feel at the time the memory occurred? And how do you feel about it right now? And you'll always say the number, right, that they select. Or if you print these out, maybe you can just kind of make a check mark and later on record in a Word document what they selected, okay? All right, next, you might want to take a break before this part because now we're going to start assessing their understanding of death, okay? So, death comprehension assessment, you're going to ask the child, what does it mean to be alive, okay? Now, how would you answer that question yourself? Anyone? What does it mean to be alive? It's a hard question, isn't it? What would you say?
To breathe.
Okay, you're breathing. Okay. All right, I have 2 other people.
Have a family, maybe friends, school.
Okay.
Things to do.
Do you mean in like the literal sense or like figuratively?
That's a good question. Okay, explain yourself. Explain your question.
So we all know like being alive, like literally, physically, biologically means our heart's beating. But like figuratively, what I mean by that is like you know, oh my goodness, I don't know how to word it.
No, go ahead. You asked the question. Come
on. So I guess I would say like I feel alive because I am loved. I'm doing something I love, like work-wise, and I have family that I love, and I do things I enjoy, so that makes me feel like alive.
Okay. So it's not just breathing, right? It's actually doing things. Okay, what else? Maria?
Yes, I think that being alive as a human is being aware of my own existence.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Okay. Let's see. Neri, is that the way you pronounce your name, Neri?
Yeah, in English they usually do, but it's like Neri, but that's okay.
See, I don't have, okay. Go ahead.
And I think it means to have the opportunity to decide and do what you want. I mean, whether that's good, negative, positive, however anyone wants to see that, but just the ability to choose.
Okay, good. Isa?
Yeah, we are going to participate, the three of us. I think that to be alive is like to have experiences and memories with you, with yourself, and with other people.
And I also think that it is to have a personal purpose in your own life and also making decisions about your life.
Mm-hmm. Good. Ximena, is that right? Ximena?
Yes, Jimena. It's okay.
Jimena. Okay, good. Okay.
For me, you feel alive when you have a purpose in life. And yeah, basically that. Like you have to have a reason to feel alive because maybe you are alive, but you don't feel like you're alive. Maybe you're just living, but you don't feel like you're living. Like you feel like, I don't know, like you don't have a purpose or you don't have, like something to live for.
Yeah, there are some people like that, right? That's good. So how do you think a child would answer this question? What does it mean to be alive? Think like a child now.
I think a child would say not being dead.
Okay, and is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Victoria?
Yeah, I also think it would come down to something very common like breathing, because like I don't think their mind is that complex into thinking like, oh, we have a purpose or something like that. It's more like, yeah, I'm alive because I can breathe, something like that.
Okay. All right, very good. So is that everyone? All right, so anyway, we just want to know, if the child understands what it means to be alive. And now we're going to show a picture of a dog. Okay, this is a little doggy. And then we're going to ask some questions. All right, here's a picture of a dog. If this dog was here, would it be alive? Okay, and they'll say yes or no. What does a dog need to live? Okay, so you might just continue to show this little picture of the dog as they answer the questions, right? So they know what you're referring to, right? Can the dog eat? Yes or no. Can the dog breathe? Yes or no. Can the dog feel pain? Yes or no. Can the dog think? Yes or no. Can the dog sleep? Yes or no. Can the dog dream? Yes or no. Can the dog grow bigger or stay the same size? Okay, and then they would pick one. oh, they can grow bigger, and I don't know if they would stay the same size, right? So you just record their answers on your cell phone. And now we're going to show them a picture of a sofa, okay? And we're going to ask the same kinds of questions, okay? What does the couch need to live? Okay. Can the couch eat? Can the couch breathe? Can the couch feel pain, etc., etc., okay? So we want to know the difference between this living thing and this non-living thing, right? And get those answers, because this interview allows us to understand, their understanding of death, okay? And just make sure you record all their answers. And now we're going to show them a card that matches their gender. So if you're working with a boy, you'll show them this picture, okay? If you're working with a girl, you show them this picture. And then we're going to ask the same questions about a living child this time, okay? Here is a picture of a child named Terry. It could be a boy or a girl, right? If the child was here, would it be alive? What does the child need to live? Can the child eat, breathe, feel pain, etc.? Okay. So we're just asking questions about the dog, the couch, and the child. Okay. All right, next part. How would Terry feel, and that's the child, right, if a friend, close relative, or family pet died? Okay, this is part of the death understanding part, right? Okay, now we're going to show a picture of the dog again. You can use the same picture as before if you want to. And then you'll ask these questions. Remember this dog? It was Terry's and it died. Sad story, right? Can it come back to life? Will the dog be dead forever and ever? Do all dogs have to die? Can some dogs live forever? Now that the dog is dead, can it still eat? Etc. Okay, so this gives us some understanding of what is this called, Alyssa? It's called cessation. Okay, so when things die, do they stay dead, right? Now I'll bet that some of you have probably seen some articles, right, about people who had died and then they woke up in the cemetery, right? And they were actually alive all the time, right? So we know as adults that sometimes that occurs, but we're just talking about cessation of life. Okay, and then you're going to ask some more questions here. Okay, so you can just follow the script. And make sure on your cell phone you record the little baby's or the child's answers, okay? And next, we're going to ask the child about cultural practices. Now, before this part, you probably want to take a break and play a game or have them draw a picture or something, right? To kind of, relax them before the next part. And then you'll ask them these questions. Did your family celebrate Dia de los Muertos this past year? Okay. What things did your family do during this past Day of the Dead? Did your dead relatives eat the food? What do you feel when you celebrate Day of the Dead? Do you think the Day of the Dead celebration is scary? When is the bread of the dead used? Why are sugar skulls used? And what are candles and incense used for? This gives us an opportunity to understand how they engage in cultural practices and how much they understand about those, okay? So there's that. Any questions so far? Okay.
No, thank you.
Nothing? Okay, good. All right, we'll go on. This is long, isn't it? Now we're towards the end and we're going to give the Basque, okay? Now this version is for ages 5 to 7 years old. And what you're going to say is I'll read some sentences that describe how some boys and girls think or feel or act. Excuse me. All right, I'm sorry. Nicole, you raised your hand. What do you want?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm wondering how long does it take to do the whole bath?
That's a good question. We've been talking for 46 minutes now, right? I would say, I don't know, with a child, it might take a little over an hour. Do you have that long with a child to work with them? Including playtime in between the parts?
I think the sessions usually are 50 minutes.
50? Okay. Should we do this over 2 days? Would that work?
Yes, I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah. So go as long as you
Thank
can
you.
the first day, and then the second day, you'll say, this is little Johnny, he's 12 years old or whatever, right? And then you'll say, this is a continuation of his interview, and then you'll just continue on the second day. Is that okay? It's a lot of work, I
Okay.
know. Okay, good.
Thank you.
All right. Now this one, this is the 5 to 12-year-old version for the Basque. It says, I will read some sentences that describe how some boys and girls think or feel or act. Listen to each sentence. If you agree with the sentence, answer yes. If you do not agree with the sentence, answer no. Give the best answer for you. There are no right or wrong answers. That should be an S. Let me put an S on that. Okay, try your best, even if it is hard to decide, and please tell the truth. Let's practice. I will say a sentence, and you answer yes or no. Okay, I like dogs, and they'll say yes or no. Let's practice one more time. I'll say a new sentence, and you answer yes or no. I like playing outside, and they'll say yes or no. Let's start now. Remember to answer out loud yes if you agree with the sentence, or no if you do not agree. Okay? And then you're going to ask or say these sentences, and then they're just going to say yes or no. Okay? And so how many of these are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 18, 19, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Yep, there are 34 of those. Okay, so that's what I said. All right, now if the child that you have is age 8 to 13, then you're going to go to the second Basque, which is for 8 to 13 years old people. Okay. These are pretty much the same instructions as on the younger person's slide. Okay. However, on these, they're going to do ratings instead of just yes or no. Okay. On some of the items, okay? So on some items, they will say yes or no. And on some items, they'll choose 0, 1, 2, or 3, okay? All right, 0 is if they never feel that way. 1 is for sometimes. 2 is for often. And 3 is for almost always, okay? So this is a little bit different from the younger child's assessment, okay? All right, so here's an example sentence for the rating scale. I like doing homework. How much does that describe you? Most people would say 0, right, for never. 1 is for sometimes, 2 is for often, and 3 is for almost always, okay? Give the best answer for you for each sentence, even if it is hard to make up your mind. There are no right or wrong answers. Please do your best. Tell the truth and answer every sentence. Okay. So you would think that most 8-year-olds would understand the instructions, right? And then you go to the next slide. And here are the items. Now these on the left are all yes and no answered statements, okay? And then all the ones on the right are rated. Let's see, 0 is never, right? 1 is, what did 1 represent? Sometimes. Okay. Yeah, sometimes. And then 2 is often, and 3 is almost always. You probably want to have that rating scale somewhere where you can refer to it and remind the child, how to answer on the rating scale. All right, Ana Lucia, you have a question?
Yeah, can we apply Basque 1 in one session and Basque 2 in the other one? It's because my girl gets distracted, and when she is distracted, she doesn't want to answer with the truth.
Oh, okay. What do you guys think? What do you think?
Like, I will say yes, but I don't know if Jackie will say yes.
Well,
Or is it okay?
yeah, I mean, I think that's a yes, but what do you guys think? Anyone say no? It's a good question.
I don't think it would be an issue.
Okay. Thank you, Abby. Abby's in my class. Okay. All right. Very cool. Okay, let's go to the last slide. It looks like we're at the last one. And now, let's see. These are the mood subscale items. And how do they answer these, Alyssa? Are they on a scale? These items on the last slide? These are all yes or no? Okay. So write in your notes that this last slide is going to be yes or no for the kids who are ages 8 through 13, okay? So I am left out of things, yes or no. I get nervous, yes or no. I am bothered by not getting enough sleep, yes or no. I'm afraid of a lot of things. Little things do not bother me, yes or no. I feel like I belong when I am around people, yes or no. I'm not bothered by teasing from others, yes or no. Let me ask you a question, Alyssa, my students here in class. Let me show you, Alyssa, she's sitting right there patiently, right, working with us. I want to ask you the question, here on this 4th item, are these actually 2 items? Is it, I am afraid of a lot of things, yes or no? And then is this another item here? Oh, okay, let me move that down. All right, and now there's an item for each one. Okay, do you guys see how to do this? These are all yes, no items. All right. How do you guys feel? Are you tired yet? I am. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so you know what to do? On Thursday.
Sorry to interrupt.
Uh-huh.
Just, I think from what I remember, this last one had a scale from like never, sometimes, almost always. So I'm not sure about that one, if it's a yes or no, or with that scale.
That's good. Okay, let me go back to Dr. Gill and I'll make sure with her, okay? And then if it is a scale, I'll put that on this slide before I send it. That's good.
Yep, thanks.
Good. Okay. Are you guys hungry? I am. What are you going to eat tonight?
We are.
Okay. So, I think this was productive. You guys, I'm going to send this after I talk to Dr. Gill about this last slide, okay, on the ratings. And on Thursday, I'd like to meet again just to answer questions. Is that okay? And maybe you can interact with your team members over here at ENMU that night if you want to. Now, we're going to start at, let's see, 5 o'clock. Is that too early for everybody? It's going to be 5 o'clock Puebla time.
Yes.
Or-
What
or
time
do you
is
wanna-
it for you right now?
Is that okay? Okay. All right, just want to make sure.
¿Que sea a las 5?
Excuse me?
Sorry, at 5 o'clock, you say?
Yes. So it would be Puebla time and Portales time would be 5 o'clock at the same time, okay? Because we're on what, daylight savings time right now? And I think that lasts until November, yeah. So we're at the same time until November. There was something else I was gonna say. On Schoology, okay, when I open up Schoology, there is a little red box that says it's not gonna work after October 1st. Is that what you guys get? Schoology?
Yes, we get it too.
So it's not gonna work after October 1st. So what are we gonna do, Jackie?
I don't know, Gary.
Okay,
I don't know yet.
all right. Well, we'll work
But
it out.
I'll let you know.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah,
all right,
give me a few days and I'll let you know.
all right. Thanks a lot. All right, so there's that. And what do you guys say we go eat now? What are we gonna eat? Okay. So I'll see you on, what, Thursday, right? 5 o'clock? Is that good? All right. See you later.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Jackie.
Sí.
Oh,
Isama have a question for you,
Sí.
only for you.
Ajá, only for you.
Okay.
Ajá, es que te mandé mensaje. ¿Puedes
Sí, pero lo checamos por mensaje. A ver, nada más antes de que se me vayan todo el mundo. Mañana no vamos a aplicar Basque.
Justo eso también.
No vamos a aplicar Basque. Ya lo teníamos en la planeación, pero después de esta sesión con Gary, no vamos a aplicar Basque. Okay, I'm giving instruction for tomorrow, Gary.
right.
Okay, so we're not going to apply Basque tomorrow. We're not going to apply the interview. We're going to work with these instruments next week. Oh, no, sorry, not next. ¿Cuándo tenemos mano amiga otra vez?
2 semanas más. O sea, la siguiente no hay, la que le sigue.
sobre, ¿no?
Yeah.
Hacemos
Cause, okay, October 4th, right? Yes. We're going to apply until October 4th, Gary. Is it okay for you?
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
Okay.
the students will have enough time to, do the statistics after that. So that's great.
Yes.
And, while you guys are collecting the data, they're going to be writing the methods section. So we have plenty to do between now and then.
Okay, perfect. Because we're going to apply the interview on October 4th and we're going to apply Basque on October 11th, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's fine.
¿Sí? Chicos, vamos a aplicar Basque y la entrevista hasta el miércoles 4 y el miércoles 11. Si no nos da tiempo o lo que sea, tenemos por ahí algunas sesiones de colchón que podíamos utilizar. Neri.
Yes, I think some of us do. Sorry. Yeah, it's just the audio is doubled, and I think it is. Yeah, so I think some of us do have an issue on Thursday at 5 o'clock because we have a class that ends 5:30. So we usually end early, but I don't think we're going to. Like, it's not a safe thing to say that we're going to be at 5 out of the class.
Okay. So do you want to do 5:30 on Thursday instead of 5? That's fine with me. Okay.
5:30 then, Neri?
Yeah, that'll work for us.
Yeah, I mean, if no one else has an issue, I think 5:30 we are out of the class and we can take it there from the university campus.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, thank you, Gary.
All right. See you later. I'm going
So
home.
much. I'll let you know what happened with the Schoology. Okay?
Okay, great. Thanks.